Do you really want to know if you're meant to be an entrepreneur or if you can be one? Then keep watching. If you can't tolerate any of these things I'm going to mention in this video, then I'm afraid you can't be an entrepreneur. Everyone loves to talk about success, but no one talks about how lonely it feels when you're at the bottom, broke and working on something no one believes in but you. This is what being an entrepreneur really feels like. No money, no guarantees, no guidance. Just a dream and your decision to keep going even if everything tells you not to. When I started this journey, I had nothing. No plan, no money, no audience. Just this crazy idea that maybe I can build something huge of my own from nothing. But no one prepares you for the real emotional roller coaster that comes with being an entrepreneur. It's not just about business, it's about rebuilding yourself every single day. So today I want to talk about the real struggles of being an entrepreneur when you are just starting from zero. No budget, no money, no guidance, no mentors, not anything. Point number one, you feel alone and no one understands you. This is probably the worst one. When you decide to build something different on your own, suddenly you feel like you are on another planet and people look at you like you're crazy simply because you are doing something that they don't understand. Entrepreneurship is so lonely. Friends want you to go out, but you're editing videos. Your family tells you to get a real job and to finish your career because you're wasting time and doing nonsense. So you start questioning yourself, am I delusional or I'm just early? It's not that you don't have people around you, but is that no one speaks your language anymore. Even though I have a lot of friends and we love each other, we knew each other since I was very little and we do have similar interests, right? Like anime, manga, and K-dramas, and that Asian stuff in general. But even though I still feeling out of place the majority of times when I'm with them or when I just met friends at university, when I'm around people in general, because they talk about movies, about the latest trends, about the latest games, serious fictional books, and I just don't know what they are talking about. I don't watch movies or K-dramas or anime anymore because I'm so focused on my work. I haven't watched any series or played a game in years, literally. The only books I read and I am interested in are about marketing, sales, self-development, economy, etc., etc. And everyone else is just talking about the latest news, the latest trends, fictional books, or video games, and I'm just like, hey Nami, have you played this game? Nope. Hey Nami, do you know this book? Nope. Hey Nami, have you seen this movie? Nope. Hey Nami, do you play any role games? Nope. I'm out of trends because they don't interest me. Why the heck I should care about what Taylor Swift did with her boyfriend on vacation? Like, I care about my business. I care how I can improve my sales, what I can do to improve my business, what I can learn next. I'm pretty sure they may think that I'm just dumb, but the truth is that we live in completely different worlds. If they ask me about YouTube, about business, about marketing, about sales, about my books, Kiyosaki, Napoleon Hill, etc., then I can talk with them for hours, for an entire day. So suddenly you go from being someone who's been surrounded by group of friends, group of people, I was like that main character, to feeling displaced and alone. Right now I don't have anyone to talk about these things and no one who truly understands me. So that's why I take refuge in my books. And I know probably this will sound so sad, but books are my best friends right now. Of course, I still have friends, very good friends, and we still get along very, very well, but I just simply feel that I have different needs right now. I'm so focused on my work that I simply don't want to go out or meet anyone anymore. This year, 2025, I've probably seen my friends just 5 or maximum 6 times, I guess, in total this year. it's hard because sometimes not even your own family or your closest friends understand you. You have a new business idea or a new plan, you can't share that with your family or your friends. You gotta keep it to yourself and you can't tell anyone because you know that everyone will talk from their own insecurities, their own doubts, and their own fear. And like it or not, but that will make you doubt yourself as well. And you can't allow anyone to interfere with your energy like that. So you gotta stay quiet and carry it in silence just to protect yourself. Honestly, I knew that the entrepreneurship journey will be difficult, but I think what's truly difficult is how lonely you can feel. I can't carry it that well because I was always super independent and I honestly don't need anyone around me. Like, I feel so good being just alone with my stuff, with my business, with my books. Probably just because I'm from Eastern Europe and we there are not that close to each other and that kind. We are more independent somehow. But if you're not an independent person who's used to handling things on your own, then be very careful with this because it can be quite depressing, and that's why it is so important to build your mindset and your independence first. The hardest part actually isn't failure. It's explaining to people that matters to you your dream and they already decided not to believe in you, because we're taught to follow the safe path, of course. Go to school, get good grades, get a job, and just stay small. When you step outside that system, people will think that you are rebelling. They call it unrealistic until you succeed, and then they call it inspiring. The moment you decide to walk away and beat that 1%, you automatically become the black sheep. Your family, the society, even the government will do everything they can just to pull you back. Sometimes because they don't understand it, and sometimes because it benefits them. Your family will probably label you as irresponsible, lazy, and rebellious. They will pressure you to finish that degree, to get a good job in a good company and with a good salary. They want you to follow the path that they believe will be the best for you, no matter what you tell them, no matter what you like or not. In countries like Spain, for example, which is where I am living right now, if you decide to be a business owner and take that path, the government and the system will punish you because you're taxed on more than half of what you earn as a business owner. You're buried under obstacles. Suddenly, no one understands you. No one supports you. Everyone around you tries to plant fear and doubt in your mind, so you will give up and fall back in line. I've had countless arguments with my mom because of this. I ended up crying, I ended up crazy, I ended up mad, and I just stopped trying to make her understand because I know that that will never happen until I succeed. Because until you succeed and until you don't have that proof, almost no one will believe in you and no one will support you. And you just learn to suffer in silence while building your thing. Otherwise, you just spend your life arguing, explaining and over-explaining yourself and defending yourself to people who were never actually meant to see your vision and understand you. I actually have a very recent example for you to prove this point. Last week, actually, I uploaded a video right here explaining why I think that entrepreneurship is the only way for my generation to live a decent life in today's economy and why I refuse to work a common job even if I am broke. Go read the comments. What you will see right there is just 1% of what you will have to endure in this journey. Mentally limited people calling you ignorant, telling you what you should do or what you shouldn't do, accusing you of being lazy or not wanting to work or even living off other people's money. They simply don't get it because their minds can't. But let me tell you something, if you don't understand this, it's because you're privileged. You're speaking from a position where you probably never had to truly struggle in life, where you never had to fight for survival. You don't know what it feels to be hungry in life. And I don't mean food. So if you're indecisive, easily influenced, or not firm in your decisions, be very careful because this path will test you. People will say that you just don't want to work, but they don't realize that being an entrepreneur means that you never, and I will repeat again, never stop working. You trade 8 hours for 24. You eat, sleep, and breathe your dream. There's no off switch. And I can confidently say this. the entrepreneur works the most and rests the least. And this isn't better or worse, everyone chooses the path that suits them the best. Entrepreneurs don't hate to work. We just hate working for the wrong dream. I don't have free weekends. And if I will feel terrible for not using that time properly. I can't rest without feeling guilty. Reading a book, watching a YouTube video, watching reels, editing, thinking, everything I do is for my work. Everything I consume is for my work. I'm so focused that I'm not interested in any topic that don't help me improve my business. People who lack purpose, ambition, and passions in life would say that this is excessive and that I'm sick. Okay, and maybe I am. The people you see today who are wealthy, famous, and successful, they once were obsessed too. And they didn't stop until they got there. And I think one of the major signs to know if you are born to be an entrepreneur is that if you don't have that feeling that you will rather die than fail at your goal, then you're probably not meant to be an entrepreneur. If you're not an ambitious person right now, you'll probably never be. You've either born with ambition or not. When you are your own boss, there's no one to blame but you. Every mistake, every loss is on you. The emotional weight of entrepreneur is real. You wake up wondering if you will make enough this month. Your peace depends on how creative and resilient you can be. Honestly, since I started taking entrepreneurship seriously like 3-4 years ago, I don't remember a single day when my mind truly rested. Because when you work for someone else, you focus on your work for that 8 hours. And yes, of course, you will come home tired, of course, but then you can rest. You can just rest your mind. The internal problems, the risks, the details, they don't follow you home. As an entrepreneur, my mind never stops. I'm always thinking about my business, what I can do to improve my business, what business I can start next. There are no real moments of rest, and I even deal with insomnia because of that. How can I improve sales? What if it doesn't work? I'm running out of budget to invest. What I can do to get more? This month was terrible. Should I try another business? Which one? How do I manage my time better so I can do multiple businesses at the same time? What books I can read to improve that? The thinking never ends because everything depends entirely on me. My monthly income depends entirely on me. Sometimes I feel like I don't have enough hours to finish everything I have to finish in one single day. First thing I do in the morning when I wake up is start working on my stuff. And sometimes I will not finish everything until 3, 4, even 5 a.m. sometimes. Honestly, will you do that for your boss? Yeah, being your own boss sounds cool until you realize that that boss is a freaking workaholic who never lets you rest. If you can't tolerate pressure, uncertainty, and insecurity, then be very careful because this path can make you crazy. There's no manual for this, there's no teacher to tell you what to do next. You just have to figure it out by failing again and again and again and hundreds of times until you learn. Entrepreneurs learn by doing. You have to fail to find direction. There's no structure. I can confidently say that I spent 6 years straight of my life feeling lost, and still I am. Since I was 23, since what people call your spiritual awakening, I've felt more lost than ever in my entire life. And sometimes I still don't know if that's a blessing or a freaking curse, honestly. From the moment the universe placed all these books and videos and information in my path, I became a completely different person. A person who actually suffers the most. And you want to know why? Trust me, no one suffers more than the person who's fully aware of the gap between the life they deserve, the potential they carry, and the life they're living right now. That gap feels awful, horrible, every single day of your life. And I'm sure that the people who's been through this will understand this immediately. I swear that so many times in my life, I just thought, I wish I had been born normal. Like a normal life and a normal purpose in life. Just go to school, pass my exams, study, and get a job. And love my job, my common normal job. Why can't I be like that? This path is so lonely, it's so difficult, and it's normal to feel lost. You have no teacher, you have no exams, you have no guide, no boss telling you what to do next. Like Robert Kiyosaki said in his books, the school of life is 10 times harder than any university. Sometimes you're not lost, you're just discovering a road that no one has walked before. People think entrepreneurship is instant freedom, but it's not. Okay, it's actually the opposite. You give before you get. You invest before you earn, and you build before anyone claps. Your early work won't pay off right away, no matter how many hours you invested doing that thing, no matter how much quality it have. You will upload videos that gets no views. You will launch products that literally no one buys. But all of it builds the foundation for something bigger. When I first started reading Kiyosaki's books, the first one, the most popular one, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he tells a story that made me genuinely angry. He explains how his rich dad began training him and his best friends to be an entrepreneur by making them work for free. They were kids, by the way. I remember reading that and thinking exactly what you're probably thinking right now. How is that even possible? Like, they're just kids, he's exploiting them. He's taking advantage of children. Kiyosaki says that Rich Dad answered something that didn't make sense for him back then, but honestly, it makes brutal sense for me right now. This is the most important lesson of all. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn first to work without getting paid, to work for free. And I didn't understand it until years later. I actually started my entrepreneurship journey for real. This is probably the most important point, but you have to learn to work for free. Exactly, I'm not joking. For free. While you are working every single day 24/7, to the world, you are either not working or just stupid and wasting time. But let me ask you something. When you go to university to study a profession, do they pay you while you are studying? Or do you get paid after you finish studying, after you master the skill? Same here. It's exactly the same thing. Whether you choose university or entrepreneurship, you must study and invest before you actually earn. The only difference is that people refuse to accept this reality when it comes to entrepreneurship, but it's basically the same thing. Most people fail to realize that in life is not how much money you make, it's how much you keep and how much you learn. So if you're not willing to work for free, probably for years, don't even attempt to be an entrepreneur. And last but not least, most of your ideas and businesses will fail. You will fail so many times that success starts to feel like a rumor. Failure is not the end, it's data. Every failed idea brings clarity. You're learning what doesn't work so you can find what does. Another important lesson that I learned both from Kiyosaki and Napoleon Hill is that you must learn to fail. Failure is not optional, and failure is essential to success. Today's schools encouraged failure instead of punishing it. The entire system will be 10 times better. To really understand how important failure is in your entrepreneurship journey, let me read something very quick for you from this Kiyosaki's book, Before You Quit Your Job. So Kiyosaki at this time was working for Xerox company. So he had to knock on the doors to every single person and try to sell them their Xerox company products. So that's how Kiyosaki was making sales for him. Of course, he was earning a small portion, a small commission of every sale he was making. He was literally the worst employed ever. So he wasn't making any sale. And he was talking with his rich dad about it. How many cold calls do you make a day? Asked Rich Dad. 3 or 4 on a good day, replied Kiyosaki. I do not know anyone who likes rejection or making cold calls, said Rich Dad. So how can I stop failing? Asked Kiyosaki. The way to stop failing is to fail faster. Fail faster? Are you kidding me? Why will I want to fail faster? If you don't fail faster, you will fail anyway, smiled Rich Dad. Look, you're in the middle of a learning process. The process requires that you make many mistakes and learn from those mistakes. The faster you make mistakes, the faster you get through the process and get to the other side. Or you can quit. Then the process spits you out. Each failure was less painful and the recovery was quicker. Each time I failed, I knew what to work on. I knew what I had to study next. Each failure made me less afraid of failing and more excited about learning what I needed to learn next. If the door slammed in my face, it meant I needed to get smarter. That's why you have to learn how to fail faster. That's what actually takes you to success, and very few people are capable of understanding this. You have to be proud of being a failure, because every failure is data. Every failure is feedback. It's telling you what you don't have to do again. Honestly, I wish they had taught us this in school. People will need therapy way less, because it's okay to fail. You have to fail. The schools and colleges teach practically everything except the principles of individual achievement. They require young men and women to spend from 4 to 8 years acquiring abstract knowledge, but do not teach them what to do with this knowledge after they get it. And this is from a writing, The Devil from Napoleon Hill. It's okay to fail. You have to fail. But don't expect people around you to see that as something positive, because for them, you're just a loser. If you're incapable of tolerating failure, and if you can't handle losing, then you will end up quitting in less than a month. Just get used to the idea that 8 out of 10 things that you try will fail, and that's not bad luck, that's just the process. If you're also chasing your dreams from zero, you are not alone. This channel is your space, and I'm documenting my entrepreneurship journey to grow together. And remember that losers quit when they fail, and winners fail until they succeed. If you want to follow my entrepreneurship journey, remember to subscribe and leave a comment down below so I can know you guys better. Tell me what point is actually the most painful for you, and what point is the most difficult for you if you are on your entrepreneurship journey. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.